Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the chairwoman yield? a few
Will you
questions?
yield, Ms. Weinstein?
Yes,
Sponsor yields.
I had a couple questions about the plastic bag ban.
sure.
I wonder, are you familiar with a study from the California University in Loma Linda? It says that 50% of reusable bags had bacteria, including chloroform in them.
Huh?
Are you familiar with that study?
No,
Are you aware that the same study said that 12% of reusable bags have E. coli in them?
no.
Have you seen the researchers at George Washington University and University of Pennsylvania? They put out a study after San Francisco banned plastic bags, and it said that ER visits for bacteria-related illnesses spiked in San Francisco after the ban. Have you seen that?
No, and you're citing studies. I don't know whether they were industry-related studies or sort of public health studies. So without that knowledge, I really can't comment on any of it.
That's a very good point. I think that might speak to the idea of doing this as a standalone bill versus jamming it into a budget bill. But I'll go on.
Yeah.
Do you know about the United Kingdom government agency study that found that cotton bags have to be used 131 times to yield an environmental benefit?
No,
Do we know the average number of times a cotton bag, reusable bag, is used in this state?
I don't think that we've kept data on that issue.
Isn't that the key question, though? It's possible that isn't it possible if it takes 131 uses to get the environmental benefit out of the reusable bag? If, say, the average is 60 times, we're actually encouraging the less environmentally friendly policy?
Well, we know that plastic does not degrade, and for those of us who are old enough to remember, and certainly earlier than that, obviously plastic bags weren't around. People did not have plastic bags for their groceries.
Are you familiar with the research that says it takes 71% less energy to make a plastic bag? Which again speaks to the environmental impact of what this bill is going to do.
I'm not familiar with the studies that you're mentioning.
Okay. Do you know what percentage of plastic in the waterways comes from the United States versus other countries?
No, that certainly I don't know.
But there's an article in a study from Science Magazine. It says 1% comes from the United States. So New York State is about 6% of the United States. So we're doing this. There's going to be unintended consequences that we can talk about. And what will be the tangible benefit on plastic in the world's waterways to passing this bill here today?
Yeah, it's not just the, the water, the actual appearance in lakes and oceans, but besides they're not degrading in the landfill, they are being animals are certainly their water animals are ingesting these bags. These bags are showing up in our water waste treatment centers. They're showing up in lots of places causing malfunctioning of machinery.
So can you speak to is there any metric that says those problems that you indicated will be reduced by a certain amount if we pass this, or we're just hoping for the best?
When they're gone, we know that they won't be showing up, so that there will be some reduced costs.
So they're going to be 100% gone when this bill takes effect?
I'm told that within New York State, in Suffolk County, in the first year this was in effect, there was a reduction of 1.2 billion bags, and they had a reduction in the amount of damage that they were seeing in these mechanical systems.
Great. Let me shift gears to the 5-cent fee on paper bags. Would you describe that fee as progressive or regressive? In other words, if a millionaire goes to the store and he has 5 paper bags, and a person of modest means, a lower middle class person or middle class person, do they pay the same 5 cents per bag?
It is an optional, not a mandatory fee, and it would be charged to all individuals except for people who I mentioned earlier are exempt from that fee, who are on low-income individuals.
So it could be applied to some New Yorkers as a regressive fee, correct? Not all, but some.
It's an incentive for people to bring their own bags and have reusable bags
Which may have E. coli and other bacteria.
based on the information that you've referred to. But I have not agreed with you that, in fact, that exists.
Well, it's not me, it's universities around the world and researchers around the world. But let me follow up on the paper bag question. If a county opts in to the paper bag, 5 cents, the money is collected, it comes up to Albany or to the state, and some goes back to the county, 40% goes back to the county. What is the cost to the state to manage and administer this program? I mean, this is the budget, right? We should put a dollar figure on everything.
Right, no, the 2% goes, the 2 cents stays in the locality, the 3 cents is remitted to the state tax department. They're known and that then goes to the distributed the Environmental Protection Fund. There is no additional administrative costs associated with
But aren't there going to be state employees that enforce this provision and deal with the cash flow from the stores to the state, back to the county?
It's going to be collected the same way on the state level. It's going to be the same as we do sales tax. So they have
No increase in employees? No, we won't need any new employees?
We don't think so.
Well, are there employees now in the state, tax and finance, that they're not busy, they're not occupied all day, they have time to handle this other program?
No, all of this is really done. They're not sitting there. They're not sitting in tax and finance counting out the pennies. They won't be counting getting those and sitting and rolling the pennies and depositing them. It's all done. It's really being done electronically and with the supervision of the staff. So we don't anticipate additional costs.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate it. On the bill?
On the bill, sir.
I think we get the benefits of a plastic bag bill for a few $1 million in public service announcements telling people, hey, don't be careless with your plastic bags. If you use them, reuse them a few times, throw them away properly, and we wouldn't have all these unintended consequences, and we wouldn't have to be heavy-handed as a state where we're reaching down into communities saying, this is how you have to buy your groceries, this is how you have to carry your groceries home. There's a much better way. That's one better way. I think we're going to spin our wheels here. I think there is going to be costs to the state, and I'm not convinced there's going to be any positive impact to the environment, and I outlined some really troubling potential negative impacts on the environment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.